So.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to flip them. Oh, well.
Oh.
I got to look at the circle now.
Yep. Oh, maybe this is going to be the key.
That might help. I think it's the screens that distract me. Okay, let's start. Welcome back to our message recap, where we discuss the messages that we had the previous Sunday. We are in a series. Oh, I got a mint. Hang on.
What?
We are in. Hang on. We're in a series called the Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
Hurry up.
It is a book by Comer. Yeah, it's cold up here. It's cold up here. We're trying to hurry. And the message this week was on silence and solitude. Setting time to be alone and quiet. And
Yep, I think it was Comer's way of basically saying spend time with God, which is what we call it around here and what we talk about all the time. Mm-hmm. This just being in the presence of God, you know? Yep. So like we could spend a whole series on this, but the idea is to basically turn off all distractions, which is hard for us. It's uncomfortable for us to try and connect, you know, to a God who is spirit when there's so much literal noise, busy noise, screen noise, all that sort of stuff going on in our lives. But how absolutely vital it is for us to have that connection and that focus time, spending time with God. And so, that was basically the point of it. And then we just spent some time talking about, real quick, set times and simple times. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you want to talk about how that looks for us and some of the ideas, or if there are other things you thought of. But
okay, I'm going to go first.
Oh, okay.
Because I was so frustrated watching the video because you were convicting me and I did not appreciate it. Oh. Because while I was watching the video, I was getting ready. I'm heading out of town and I've got way too much to do to just sit and just watch a video. And that 1 minute of silence, that was too much for me. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited because while I'm on vacation, luckily my mom likes to just do nothing. So I'm going to read the book and I'm going to work on all of this.
Good.
So
you're just going to do nothing. You should have been in the room. It was very awkward.
I will say I did have to check on somebody during first service. Actually, it was your daughter. I wanted to go talk to her. And it was right as you were going to your minute of silence. I'm like, I got to go. I can't be here for this.
I actually thought it was going to be even more awkward than it was. It was less awkward than I thought it was going to be. And it might have been because I was expecting it.
Yeah, probably.
But
you knew it was coming.
But yeah, it
was
and
your
still
wife,
not comfortable.
Your wife looked at me and said, "What is he doing?" I go, "Yep, exactly. That's the point."
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody grab their phone. Mm-hmm. So that was, it was interesting.
Someone was in the lobby watching the message out there.
Did they think it froze or something?
The sound cut out. The sound, it just went dead for, I don't know. It felt like 5 minutes. I'm like, it was a minute.
So that person obviously was not watching the message.
Right.
They were it was background noise.
Yep.
Oh, funny.
Yep, absolutely.
That's funny.
That was probably my favorite part of the message. My favorite part, of speaking parts of the message was when you said, put it in your calendar, like schedule it.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem is you can say, okay, at 6, I'm going to do it. Every day, every morning at 6 o'clock, I'm going to do it. And eventually you'll just slip. Mm-hmm. If there's a constant reminder on the thing that you're always using, you're going to do it.
My fear with that, I think the benefits far outweigh the negatives. Mm-hmm. But my fear is, and I've seen it happen in so many Christians' lives anyway, they get into this routine or this habit and they forget the purpose then.
Mm-hmm. It turns into a behavior, not a relationship.
It turns into a religious thing rather than time to connect with God. So I tried to make it clear. It's for the purpose of relationship. If the end goal is just, even prayer, just reading the Bible or any sort of spiritual practice, if that becomes the end goal in and of itself, then it's just religion, and like, who really cares?
Right.
So there is that danger with set it and habits, but I think so many of us are probably way the other way. When we see the pendulums, then we'll address it. Let's right now.
Right. Let's get into
We might
it.
need some reminders
Yep.
to get us to spend time with
Yeah.
God.
But honestly, the more you do it, the less you need that reminder.
Yeah, it just starts to
You know
become
what I mean? It just becomes, you want to go there and do that. And, so that's why it's like a gateway into, doing that and spending time with God.
Yep.
I think we need to be aware, if you're going to try this, we need to be aware that it's not easy, obviously. And that the tendency is going to be always to drift, always to think about something else. That's just going to be the tendency. It isn't easy. It takes a specific determination. I'm here to connect with God. And it's a learned practice of how to relate to God. It's just not something we do in our everyday life. And it's just going to be something that's a challenge. If you find yourself, okay, I'm going to have this quiet time, you will go into all kinds of things, and you may walk away saying, that didn't do any good.
Yeah.
You know what? It's just do it again and again. What works for me is having a pad and a pen there, because I do. When I'm with God and then things come up, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to pick up milk today. I write it down so I can stop thinking about it. Oh, I got to call so-and-so. I'll write it down. I don't have to think about that. And it takes effort to just refocus back to the presence of God, to his presence and his love. And I always ask him just to fill me completely, fill me with your spirit and your presence, and just be quiet and wait. That is a learned practice. It is something that doesn't come naturally to us as human beings. However, it is where all of the fullness, the joy, all of the benefits of being a Christian that we read about in the Bible, that we talk about, come from that. It is from the presence of God. And if we don't learn how to be in the presence of God, we will miss that in our lives. We will live our lives as Christian people with a bunch of knowledge and belief, but no experience.
Yeah. Which is not how it's supposed to be.
That's not God's intention.
Yep.
He wants to live with us and be with us. But he don't go anywhere. He's always there. We're just not aware.
There's really two things I think you kind of mentioned this idea of when you were just talking, I got the picture of like a spiritual sort of muscle, you've got to train that muscle. So part of it is, connecting with a spiritual God. And then part of it is just the uncomfortableness of silence that we're not used to. And so it is probably one of the most difficult parts of Christianity is to get ourselves used to spending time with God. But there's nothing like it, it's totally worth, though it's going to feel like work. There's still times where I can walk away from, 10 or 15 minutes and like, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm just not connecting. Something's going on. I got other things in my mind. Like it's still not like, oh, I arrived one day and like, now I can just instantly I'm there, there's
I think that's a good
constant-
point. Like, you're not always going to feel anything.
No.
And there's a lot of people that get stuck on, how do I know God's here? How do I know that anything's even happening?
Yep.
Am I wasting my time?
Yep.
And that's where I think some people fall into God didn't show up, so why should I do it today?
Especially early on, it can be very discouraging because it's so unnatural and we're so unused to it. I don't know if that's a word. I might have just made that up. So, but yeah, we didn't talk about it here because this message was really about us just doing this silence and solitude thing just on our own. But I think if you struggle with this is something that might not be easy for you, I would suggest maybe finding 2 or 3 other people who they spend time with God, they're a little more comfortable with it than you are, and just kind of listen to them, Maybe we have a prayer meeting or something. Sounds weird, but like try and be around them when they spend time with God and listen to how they pray, how they talk to God, all those sorts of things, what they mention, when we pray as a staff or with our trustees or those have been cool experiences for me.
A small group
lately.
can work for that.
Small group sort of thing. So that was a nice
plug.
Nice plug.
And there's no magical words either. People get caught up on what are the right words I have to say. There's nothing magical or special.
Sometimes don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just shut up and just be there.
Just
Honestly,
honestly.
when I spend time with God, there are very few words spoken.
Well,
Can be with Him for a half an hour and just not say anything.
and if you're waiting to hear from God, you're not going to hear him if you're talking. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well,
Get through the awkwardness, push through, keep refocusing. No, I'm here to experience God. I'm here to experience God. Just keep seeking, and you'll get there. And wow, it's what life's all about. You can't live life without the presence of God in you to be truly life.
Make it a priority.
Yeah.
yep. All right. Looks like, which one? Over here. Yeah. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.